Welcome, people. Hello. Welcome to my new channel. I am Yvonne McBride. This channel will be about helping Black and Brown women use all of their talents, right? The multi talented Black women and Brown women we are to cultivate the life of our dreams. Today, we have my good friend Sundari Moneek here. We're going to talk about who she is, what she does, how she helps the community at large, and we're going to get into some other things to talk about our Lit Life Luquillo trip. So, Monique,
Yeah.
we met how long ago? I don't know, 20 some years ago. Monique
Correct.
is part of my good sister friends circle in Atlanta.
Mhm.
And hi, Smurfs. Um, she has been an integral part of this circle. She is our spirit mother, um, our spiritual guider. But I'm going to let her introduce herself to you all. Monique, who are you and what do you do?
Well, greetings, family. My name is Sundari Moneek. I am the mother of six beautiful children. I am somewhat of a community activist. I am the owner of Sanctuary of Self, located in the West End of Atlanta. It is a metaphysical boutique, and some would call me somewhat of a medicine woman. However, that's not quite the title I give myself. I do practice several different modalities of healing, everything from sweat lodges to helping to facilitate Aya ceremonies and yoga instructor. I dip and dabble in herbs and different type of plant medicines. Let's see. Oh gosh, it's quite a list of different modalities that I participate in. However, I could do readings and I deal with chakra balancing and guided meditations. Um, yeah, it's kind of a rabbit hole of different modalities, kind of grouped into one. But overall, health and wellness, spirituality, is the overall genre that I deal in.
So we said multi-talented. She is downplaying it. All of that, plus she's a costumer. Um,
I am a costume supervisor in the film industry and a talent manager. That's one of my other jobs. I've been in production as well for the last 30 years. And yeah.
yeah.
Oh, I'm also an author. I just happen to have a
Yes.
coffee table book on Black men and spirituality. It's probably about 20, 30 years old itself. But anyway,
And I think we met right before, like when y'all were putting that book together, when y'all
yeah,
were
yeah,
photographing for that book, when your past life, when you were, um,
that book
yes,
took about
that's
10
about the
years
time.
to come together. And stuff, but
Yes,
it finally
yes.
came together. So
Yes. So when we talk about multi-talented and using your innate gifts, right, to make a
mhm.
living, this is the woman. This is the woman. This is the embodiment of that.
Thank
Um, she has so much within her and she pours so much out of her to the community. Um, so yeah, this is the embodiment of what this channel is about. So I'm glad to have her here.
you.
I'm
I'm
glad
happy to
she's
be
part of my
here.
sister circle.
Yes, I am.
Um, Yes, and so let's get into and talk about the
Mhm.
specifics. Your personal journey to whole health healing, the metaphysical work. Like, what brought you into this realm of your life?
Let's see. Well, I was raised Catholic. I went to Catholic school for 12 years of my life, church
Okay.
several times a week. So I think that really was the foundation for the discipline. Um, I moved out, probably I was about 19. And I read this book called Spiritual Awakening. And literally, that's what it did. It just kind of began to answer some questions. And more importantly, it made me ask different questions. And it made me question why we were here, what is the purpose of life, which we all do at some point in some stage on this journey. And that was kind of what kicked it off. Then, not long after that, I started studying Paramahansa Yogananda's teachings, and things began to really kind of open up for me as far as understanding that the physical the physical outer world is just a mirror of our inner world, and as above, so below, so on and so forth. Um, Not long after that, I was invited to my first sweat lodge, and the rest is kind of history. I
That was
started.
early, that was before children?
Oh, this was actually. I did my very first sweat. I was pregnant with my third child.
Okay.
And I've been sweating ever since. I started going to the Enlightenment Center, which is in downtown LA. It's in the hood in LA, and under the tutelage of Sri Nakadevi, Premananda Mataji, White Eagle. Um, Studied under her for many years, and the Enlightenment Center was kind of my birthing place. It introduced me to Buddhism. It introduced me to Native American spirituality, which really for me was it was an alarm, essentially, because it helped to tie me back to who I was innately, to my indigenous roots.
Mhm.
You know, to the part of me that is from here, that's Indigenous American,
Mhm.
as well as African. And, African spirituality, Voodoo, Yoruba, the Yoruba culture, Coptic Christianity, it was just, there was nothing that was left out. We deal with numerology and astrology, and it was just one thing after another, and it was kind of like a stepping stone. And what you'll find is when you start on this journey, there are many religions that you may tap into, but religions to me are just schools of thought.
Mhm.
They are schools of discipline. Essentially, they all say the same thing. Even Scientology, Judaism, how many holy books are there
Right.
really? The Pape Vu and the Bhagavad Gita, and
Right.
there's just lists and lists and lists of holy books. And essentially they all tie back to the same ideology, the the cosmology, of the universe. So, you
Right.
know,
Books of people need something to believe in, right? A purpose. So each of these different religions are just guiding people to what they think, life is about, basically.
really, yeah, and essentially they're just guiding you back to yourself. They're guiding you back to the inner self, knowledge of self, because as we all know, knowledge of self is knowledge of the cosmos, is knowledge of the supreme. And with that, we are all, it's cliche, but we are all God's children. We are all gods and goddesses in our own right. So,
Mhm. So let's talk about so how long, give a year a year range of how long you've been studying metaphysical work and whole health healing, like.
um, maybe 33 years. The journey pretty much started. I was pretty militant back in the day, and it started with me being
As we all were. Yes.
Yeah, getting back into who we are as Black people and as Indigenous, as African, and so on and so forth, and really um, honoring that and honing back into that. I feel like that helped to set the stage for the spirituality, because to me, it's like once you get on that road and you start studying who you are as an Indigenous person, you can't help but tap into the spiritual aspect of it, because they're one and the same. Metaphysics is just another aspect of it. You know, once you start tapping into that concept of the melanin, the melanated being and stuff, you start dealing with carbon and what makes you Black and all the rest of that, then you have to it ties you into the science and into the metaphysics and into the physics of it all. So
Okay. Okay. So let's talk about the shop, Sanctuari itself. What led you to opening the store, the
um
brick-and-mortar store?
the sanctuary actually came about out of my love of spirituality, really. I used to go to the Bodhi tree. Anybody who is from LA or has spent any time in LA and is on their journey, spiritual journey, probably knows about the Bodhi tree. And the Bodhi tree, I believe, is where I picked up my first book on Yogananda and stuff. And I just always thought it was cool to have a place where you can go and get information and have support. And I just wanted to open up a place in the neighborhood that offered tools for spiritual growth and for healing and enlightenment, and a place where people could come and get together and discuss spirituality, because I just thought it was cool. And essentially, really, at the end of the day, it was an assignment from Spirit.
Mhm.
And I couldn't tell you the year, but yeah, Spirit was like, I need you to do this. And I was like, okay.
The intuition, the spirit, yes.
Yeah. So it's been 5.5 years. We've been open 5.5 years. We were closed for about 8 months because we sustained a pretty bad fire, which was
Mhm,
okay, because at the end
mhm,
of the day, as the phoenix rises, and because of my relationship with fire, I understood that there was a bigger message attached to it, and that there was some cleaning that needed to happen, some cleansing of the building, of the space, of
mhm.
energy around it, so it was just a matter of sitting back and waiting until that message was clear. And I didn't really anticipate opening back up, but unbeknownst to me, Spirit was like, yeah, get in there and get it done. So that's what we did.
That's crazy. So okay, we're going to pause. We're going to talk about the store some more, but let's pause. Let's talk about that for a second.
Mm-hmm.
Um, in relationship to like being a business owner, right? Handling adversity, how you chose to handle that adversity, right?
Mm-hmm.
Um, and you just said like your relationship to fire. So what is your relationship to fire?
Uh, long and short of it is, I'm a firekeeper for sweat lodges, or inipes, which is an indigenous ceremony. It's kind of like Native American church, essentially, but I'm the firekeeper. So we can go deeper into that later. However, I've had a very early journey dealing with fire. I was really young. I was reaching over a candle and I burned all my hair off. Um, yeah, the majority of it, I think, from my understanding, it was probably a good 70%,
Mm.
65, 70%. So, and I still have some bald spots from it today. However,
Like all my hair, for real? Oh my God.
yeah. So I've had some really interesting experiences with fire. Um, but without getting too deep into it, it has awakened me to my relationship with fire and in dealing with fire and the healing elements of fire. Although I am a daughter of Yemaya, hence the water behind me. Um, yeah, I am. I've got a strong relationship with fire, and I respect it. I honor
Mhm.
it, and in that, I just knew there was a bigger message and stuff.
Okay.
So it's too
Okay.
much to get into the details of it. However,
That's
yes,
good. We touched on, because we're going to talk about fire later on.
yeah.
We touched on what the audience needed to know. But
Hmm.
when you reopen, so right now, what can people who come to the store expect to find? What do you sell? What services do you provide?
Okay, it's a metaphysical boutique, so we have all of your basics, your candles, your sages, your oils, um, your tools. We have some instruments. We also offer services. We have massage therapy, Reiki. Um, we do readings. We do vaginal steaming. I am a womb sauna practitioner, so we do womb steamings. We also do. Rapé therapy, which is sacred snuff. We do counseling. What else is on? And Reiki as well. However, I'm not a Reiki practitioner. I have practitioners come in, nor do I do the massages. I have a massage therapist who works with us. So I don't do that myself.
Okay. So let's talk about
However,
the medicine card readings that you provide.
okay.
What are
I'm sorry, say that again.
the medicine card readings that you
Oh,
provide?
yes. Okay. I don't do tarot. I deal with the oracles, Oshozen, the goddess oracle. My favorite probably is the medicine cards, which deals with Native American spirituality and animal medicine, animal totems. Um, let's see. There's a couple other ones that I dip and dabble with, but the ones that I offer at the shop are the Oshozen and the medicine cards, as well as the goddess oracle. And we sell cards as well.
And when people comes for people who are unfamiliar with card readings,
Mhm.
what would they be? What is the goal for card readings? What are they coming for to
The
get
goal is
guidance?
always clarity. The goal is always to give you how do you say? Number one is clarity. Two, it is kind of a mirror of where you are, where you're going, where you've been. It's not prophetic in the way that, on Tuesday, you're going to win the lottery, that type of thing. It's not that. It's more about, say you're having some difficulties, maybe some relationship difficulties, and that may come up. And in that, um, partially based on your pool and an intuitive reading, it could be something that it could be the way in which your parents communicated with you coming up. You know what
Right,
I mean? Or the way a teacher communicated with you that you really looked up to, or that kind of thing. So,
right.
as we know, most of our traumas and our dramas are tied back to that stage between 1 and 7, 1 and 12, those early rites of passage stages. I also do rites of passage facilitation. So we deal a lot with um, people in their early stages. That first rites of passage, that second rites of passage, that first 7 years, that second 7 years, that third 7 years. So,
Mhm.
what many people don't realize is rites of passage pretty much goes up until your 40s, 50s. I would say your 40s, and then you enter into your crone stages, your eldership and stuff. But you're going to go through a rites of passage, whether it is guided or not, every 7 to 10 years. So,
Okay. So you talked
mhm,
about the rites of passage services that you provide for the youth. um,
Mhm.
in Atlanta. Talk about the other sessions, workshops that you provide for the community.
Well, we do guided meditations. We've done chanting sessions. I have helped to. I'm not a facilitator of Aya, but I am a support for different ceremonies. So there are other ceremonies that I don't conduct, but I am there as a support, as a guide. Um, so let's see, what are some of the other things? Oof.
So the grief
Sananga.
session.
Oh, I'm sorry, we do offer Sananga as well at the sanctuary. But I'm sorry, what was the question again?
The grief ceremonies.
Oh, the grief
What
ceremonies.
what does that entail? What does
Okay,
that
so
entail?
the grief ceremonies are based on Sabon Fusome's ceremonies, and in the grief ceremonies, essentially, in our communities, we no longer support grief as a way of healing. We don't support the stages of grief. We don't support those who are grieving for the long term. We kind of pat people on the back. We allow them to cry when things happen, or we're there for them when things happen. But a grieving ceremony allows you to push these things forward. It holds space for you because we grieve for many reasons. We grieve for death. We grieve for a loss of job. We grieve for a loss of ideology of how we thought we were to live.
That
There's so
part.
many different reasons. Yeah, there's a lot of reasons why we grieve. We grieve our youth. We grieve getting older. Like there's a lot of things that we hold on to, but the grief ceremony, it holds space and allows you to process through those different stages. It allows the person to cry, to moan, to get it out of their system. If that means rolling around on the floor, but a grieving ceremony gives you permission to release it, so you can grow from it, so you can understand, so you can get your lessons, and essentially heal that aspect of yourself.
Right, right. Because just like you said, like, even in death, people say, oh, be strong. They give
No,
you,
this is not a time to be strong. The
right,
grieving
exactly,
ceremony is permission to let go,
exactly.
permission to cry. Many people don't realize that tears are God's gift. It flushes. It helps to
Mhm.
cleanse. There's no time that you're going to cry where it doesn't release. It's going to release different hormones that will bring you into a space of ease, and will relax the body and will relax the spirit. And essentially, anyone who is not crying, you better beware, because if it's not something that manifests inside of them as dis-ease, you definitely are going to see it on the external.
Mhm.
So the tears have
Mhm.
been given to us as a gift, to flush, to cleanse, to clean our
Yes.
hearts, our spirits, our emotional body. And it is emotional intelligence that has been built into our system, into our DNA, for healing. So
Right.
mhm.
Yes.
Feels
And all of
good.
that.
Have a good
Go ahead.
cry.
Yes. And all of that leads us to the trip, because
Mm,
all that you said, all that we've been talking about is what this Lit Life Luquillo trip is about, right?
mhm,
um,
mhm,
Services and guidance that you'll get if you decide to join us on
yeah,
this retreat.
mhm,
um, so we're going to go into that. We Monique is going to be one of the guides for our Lit Life Luquillo retreat this summer.
Mm-hmm.
July 11th through the 15th. And this retreat is for women, Black, Brown, Indigenous women who are on a journey of healing and transition and
Mm-hmm.
rebirth, right? So, women who are, as we've been talking about, women who are um, mourning a divorce, women who can't seem to get out of, a toxic job, a toxic relationship, women who just want to pivot from being an employee, right, to becoming an entrepreneur, like women who
Mm-hmm.
are going to the next phase of their life, maybe their children are graduating, right? So they're about to become empty nesters. And um, maybe your parents have passed, and you're trying to figure out how to go on in the world without those those guides, right? So this is what this retreat is about: women who are reinventing themselves, women who feel like their life has hit a plateau, right? And don't know which way to go, don't know what are the next steps to make their life better. So this is what, this retreat is about. And if you come, people like Monique will be there to help guide you through the process. Even though, my bad, even though we may not realize that change involves grief, right?
Mm-hmm.
You think about it, even just self improvement, evolution, right?
Yeah.
Um, my life, for a long time, I thought my life was heading in this direction. And, things happen that send you through another direction. And
Yes.
to process what you thought your life was going to be, right, can send you into depression, can send you into just paralyzing, like you're moving through life um,
Right.
without a direction, right? Because you don't know what else to do, you don't know what the next steps are, because you thought these were the steps you were taking to get to this life, right? So letting that go, for me, I had to let that part of my life go to say, okay, this is not going to happen. How am I going to move forward, right, to get to build another life, to have
Right.
another dream, right? What does that look like? And it took some, I went through the stages of grieving what my life was not going to be,
Mm-hmm.
um, to move on and to get to a next, the another level.
I do want to kind of add into that there's an importance of being gentle with yourself through the process, because we have a tendency to beat up on ourselves. And being gentle often just means allowing whatever is going to come up, because there's messages in that. There's never a problem where a solution's not attached.
Right,
So now you may not want to hear it, you may not pay attention to it, it might not be what was ideal at the moment, but it's important for us while we're processing, that it doesn't always have to be heavy. You
right,
know, I really want to specify the importance of, it's not always heavy, and it doesn't always have to be a long drawn out process, because healing sometimes happens miraculously in a moment. Sometimes
hmm,
it's just in the awareness. Sometimes it's just in seeing someone mirror back to you where you're at, or something that you've been through. I am a strong advocate that there is anything and everything can be healed. The creator has given us everything that we need. You know, the world and nature in itself is a hospital. It
yes,
depends on how you choose to use it, and it is about um, pulling together the right ingredients to make the pie. Right? Is
hmm,
we ain't gonna pull the cake out of the oven before it's done. You know,
right,
and the cake is gonna be different depending on who you are. Are you vegan? you're not going to use no eggs, or you know what I mean, you may be from the South and you better use them eggs. As a matter of fact, extra stick of butter in it. You know what I mean, depending on where you're from and where you're at will determine what the ingredients are for your healing, you know.
Right.
And one day you might need that extra stick of butter, and the next day you may need no butter at all. So the
Hmm.
thing is being gentle with yourself where you are, and being clear about wanting to change. You might not know where you want to go, or you might not know what that looks like, but you do know that there's some movement needed, and it's okay, because there's not, the only thing consistent here is change.
Hmm.
You're the creator, you know what I mean?
That's it.
Those things are consistent. So we're always going to grow. Which direction you grow in, you can grow laterally, you know what I mean? But you're going to be forced to grow, you know what I
Mhm.
mean? In some direction. So that is up to you what direction that you're going to go in, you know. And sometimes, many times, we don't know where we want to go. We're just stuck in a space where we know we need to get out of. You know
Yes.
what that looks like, you know. I Again, I really want to emphasize that these trips are not, they don't have to be heavy. It's
Yes.
about healing, it's about finding joy. Luquillo is a beautiful space. It's a beautiful container in order for transition and transformation to happen. And it doesn't take a lot of personal work because your environment supports that. If anybody knows anything about epigenetics, then you know that your environment, the people that you're around, the things that you take in help to shift and to change you. And sometimes just changing your environment can
Yeah.
change your reality, change who you are, and shift you, you know, shift your cells, excuse me, the English language, help shift your cells and your DNA in a way in which you had no idea, you know. And just a small example: if someone has never been out of the country and has never seen anything outside of maybe their city or state, and
Mhm.
decides to take an international trip, just the air in itself being different, just the way the sun shines or the snow falls, just those simple things will help to shift your reality. You know?
Yes.
So it's so important that we remove ourselves from those places that have created the toxicity, or that keeps us locked into toxicity, or just keeps us locked into the pattern of doing things the same way. It's important that we remove ourselves from those spaces so we can see differently.
Yes. And that's part of the reason why we chose Luquillo, just for the mountains. Luquillo is the home of the only national rainforest in the U.S.
And it's gorgeous.
Um, it's gorgeous. It is gorgeous. And it sits between the rainforest and the water, the Atlantic Sea.
Mm-hmm.
It has the estuaries, and the estuaries, if you all aren't familiar, estuaries are spots, pools of water where the ocean meets the rivers, right?
Yeah, Miami,
So
so soon.
yes, yes, and how you don't know the power that comes from those two goddesses meeting, those two deities meeting, and how
Mm,
much power it will give you, cleanse you. Um, and it's special for that reason and many others, but this is why we chose this location. Um, for us to hold space, to go to hold space for whatever you're dealing with. We will be there to guide you. It's an intimate setting with intimate, we're curating intimate women, like-minded women together, 8 at the most. So everyone will get the attention and the love and the support that
mhm.
you need to get through any transition that you're going through. Um, or if you're just coming to get clarity on your next steps, what do you want your next life to look like, um, this is the trip for you. Um, so I know you have to go, Mo. I want to thank you. Oh, one before we go, let's talk about the alchemy of elements session that you will be providing at the retreat.
Okay.
What that entails, what that entails, what does it look like, and the ceremony and the fire element in that.
Okay. Well, without giving away too much,
Yes.
we'll partake in cacao, which is essentially chocolate in its natural form. It is a heart opener, and that it is an allowing, right? It is a sacred ceremony, and it's kind of like hot chocolate for those who don't know. Not as sweet, but cacao is a heart opener. So we will start with cacao, some breath work for
Mhm.
those who either don't know or don't believe or don't quite understand. The breath is your life force. And in that, when you control it and use it in a very specific way, it again helps to open up your chakras, helps to balance your chakras, helps to open you up to your higher self, essentially. And in that, supporting those who are making whatever transition that they're making, helping to clear out whatever needs to be cleared out. And in that, we also will use the element of fire to um, to help in that transition. So again, I don't want to give away too much, but in that, we are there to hold space um, and push a couple buttons. Yeah,
And we
turn
will,
to turn your light on or to turn it up. Yeah,
yes.
we want to turn your light up. So the idea is to is a rebirth. Yeah. So if you're interested in a rebirth, if you're interested in shedding, if you're interested in any type of transformation, and again, it will be done in a very firm but gentle way, like a grandmother.
and and some of this will take place in the mountains, in the rainforest. It's going to be a beautiful, awesome,
Awesome
one in
experience.
a lifetime experience.
Yes, most definitely. And anyone who signs up, trust me, you will be glad that you did. Yeah, for sure. Because what we are trying to promote is lifestyle change as well as personal accountability.
Yes.
Um, and in that, personal awareness and accountability always brings about change because you are responsible for what you know.
Hmm. Yes. So
Yes.
with that, we're going to wrap it up. Remind everybody where they can find you, where your store is.
Okay. You can find us in the West End of Atlanta. The address is 568 Pool Place. The store is called Sanctuary of Self, spelled Sanktuari of Self. Um, you can also find us on Instagram, and you can not Facebook. You can find us on Instagram, and our website is sanctuary.com. Actually, it is going back up at the end of the week. So, outside of that, come see us, come check us out. Yeah.
Yes, the store is beautiful. I've posted, I think, a while ago. We'll do a repost on Instagram about the store.
Okay.
But yes, thank you for coming, Mo. I want to remind you all, anybody who is interested in the trip, you can look up Lit Life Luquillo .com, go to the website. You can hit me up on Instagram, Yvonne McBride Lit Life. Um, and also, I want to say, if you liked anything on this channel, if you like these discussions, if you are a woman of the diaspora who is looking to make a change,
Mhm.
looking for some direction, um, looking to reinvent yourself, follow along. We'll have some more content coming about how to manifest your dreams, how to live your best life. Um, you know, at any stage, 30, 20, 60, there's always a next level that you can enjoy, live, love. So that's what we're about here. I hope you enjoyed this little first, second podcast. If you did, like, please like and share. All right. Thank you. Thank you.
It's down there.